Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to the Tribe of Christians broadcast. My name is Brandon Dawson. I am the founder and ministry leader here. Now, the number one thing that has been on the minds of most Americans lately has been the economy. We have a record high inflation, well above 9% and climbing, which I believe the real number is a lot higher than that. We have the highest gas prices on record in the history of our nation. Gas as high as $6 or $7 in some cities. We have major issues going on with with food shortages, baby formula shortages, massive supply shortages all over the nation. And if you guys are doing your research and not just relying on the mainstream media, most experts are saying that a recession isn't just coming, but it's already here, and that things may very well lead to an economic collapse. And so we are actually seeing data concerning the auto industry. Repos are up by over 1.5 million. 1.5 million so far nationwide. And if you look at the data by state, most states are at least 10 to 12% delinquent in auto loans. I believe New York State is actually leading that. New York City, around 20% delinquent in auto loans. People are defaulting on their car payments, and the banks are taking massive hits on these really bad loans. We are also seeing data concerning the housing markets. Prices are coming down all over the place, and inventory is climbing. The numbers are already showing a massive decrease in housing sales, but numbers have already surpassed, I believe, the 2008 housing crisis. Layoffs are already starting. We are also seeing the data in the inflationary reports with the CPI, so all the signs are there. It is coming. So what I want to talk about is a couple of prophetic dreams that the Lord has given to me concerning the U.S. economy, because these dreams were given to me 2 years ago, and they are coming to pass exactly as the Lord has shown me that they would happen. Now, before I get into the dreams, I just want to encourage you guys, when you get the chance, if you aren't already, go to our website, tribeofchristians.com, and subscribe to our site. All you have to do is put in your email address. You're going to want to subscribe, because a lot of times when I get dreams or words and I publish them directly on our site, I don't get a lot of time to actually go in and do a video or a broadcast right away. So if you guys subscribe to our site by email, the instant it's published, you guys are going to get notified right away. Now, our ministry is, and we have a 100% prophetic accountability rating, meaning that almost every single dream, and I say almost because not everything has come to pass yet, but every dream, word, or vision that has been given to us or put forth through our ministry has come to pass or is waiting to come to pass. And we also have a very strong prophetic accountability system. So what we are putting out there, it's not just random and it's not reckless. And everything that we do put forward is always an affirmation in unity with the Word of God, with the Bible, not contrary or in contradiction to it. So there are a lot of prophecies that our ministry that we have put forward that have come to pass. So if you guys want to go and take a look at our track record in our history, I did publish an article. It's titled 16 Impossible Tribe of Christians Prophecies That Have Come to Pass. They include things dealing with Europe, the war in Europe. They deal with the you-know-what. They deal with specific timings of things and the economy. So I've included actually a downloadable PDF file in that link so that you guys can download as well for reference. So again, all you need is your email. It's 100% for free. You're not ever going to be spammed by me, and I'm not ever going to ask you guys for money. So you can go to our site right there, put in your email address, and that way you guys will be notified instantly. Now, I have had a few dreams, several dreams concerning the economy, but really I'm just going to be talking about one specific dream that I've had, because there's so much information in it. If I did all the dreams, it would just take forever. So I'm going to focus on one specific dream that the Lord showed me, and specifically relating to our nation's economy with Biden's signing of the infrastructure and spending bill back in 2021. So now, if you guys have not watched it yet, I just put out a really incredible teaching that does deal with some things dealing with the economy, the financial system, dealing with the war of Gog and Magog and the rebuilding of the third temple, and things dealing with New York City. So you guys definitely want to check that out. I'll make sure to include the links as well. So in addition to talking about the dream, the prophetic dream the Lord gave me, I'm also going to mention a few things and how you guys can prepare for what is coming. So I had a dream, and this was published November 23rd of 2020, concerning specifically an infrastructure and economic spending bill over the nation. And that dream was a specific warning for the following year. It is very time sensitive. So that dream was published November 23rd, 2020. It was a warning for November of 2021. And with prophetic dreams, they're not all this way, but with some of them, you do have to be very careful to pay attention to the timing of things, not just the time of when the dream occurs, but also the very month and the day, because sometimes they can give you an indicator as to when things might actually occur. And that is what happened with this specific dream. So Monday night, November 23rd, I dreamt that it was near the holiday months. It wasn't Christmas time, but we were going towards Christmas. So this was sometime in November leading up to December, and I saw holiday decorations that were being put up and whatnot. And then I saw a one-story house, which in this dream actually represented the entire nation, the United States. And inside this house, I saw members of Congress. I saw Nancy Pelosi. I saw Chuck Schumer. I saw Democratic members of Congress. And I also saw President Joe Biden. And so right away, I knew that this dream was dealing with Congress. And then I saw that there was a lot of money involved in this dream. Like they had been given a lot of money. And then I saw them picking up sledgehammers and construction tools. And so they began to knock out the walls and the rooms within this house, and it resembled a massive home remodeling construction project. So right away, this was dealing with infrastructure. And they were knocking out the walls. They were physically re-extending the boundaries of some of the rooms, moving some of the hallways. They were moving things around. And it just looked like the entire inside of this house was being knocked down and being redesigned and remodeled. And so as I watched what was happening, I saw that there were no support beams. They forgot to put the support beams in place. So there were no support beams to hold up the ceiling and the roof. And then I saw the roof beginning to collapse. And then it didn't all collapse at once. It didn't happen all at once, but it started to collapse in the very back of the house, the very back and at the corners, the very edges, where nobody saw what was happening. And so the roof began to collapse very slowly, moving from the very back corners, and it was moving forward to the front of the house. And as it moved forward, it picked up in speed and in force, and it was like a domino effect that was occurring. And so like how you would flip over the first domino, and it would be slow at first, and it would pick up in massive speed and momentum, that's exactly what was happening. It reminded me of a domino effect. And so I then ran as fast as I could to the front of the house because nobody knew what was happening. And then when I ran towards the front of the house, I saw that there were a lot of people had been gathered in the common areas, like in the living room, the den, the kitchen, and whatnot. And these people were regular citizens. These weren't government or elected officials. These were just regular citizens, and they had no idea what was coming. So I began to shout, "The roof is collapsing. The roof is collapsing. Get out, everybody, get out as fast as you can," trying to warn people. And as I began to shout, I noticed that there were a lot of people who were distracted. They were distracted. They were not paying attention to the warnings that were happening, and they did not make it out in time, and the roof collapsed. And that was the end of that dream. And so when I published that word, I did give several key points, several key interpretations of that word when I published it. And so I'm going to just mention a few of them. But the overall symbolism of this dream, it signified that the things that were happening, it was concerning the economy, concerning spending, and something that was tied, it's infrastructure, Congress, and again, with this massive spending. So point number one this dream, the house symbolized the nation itself. The house consists of a foundation, of walls, of rooms, doors, ceiling, and whatnot. And so there is an internal and also an external aspect to a house. So internally, something that we deal with personally, and externally, something that can represent social status and also security. Now, point number 2, the roof. This roof symbolized the financial capabilities or the limits of the nation. And since the house was only a one-story building and the roof was not expanded, I interpreted this to mean that although the debt ceiling may be raised or it may be expanded, it's only limited to the size and the scope of the building. Now, number 3, the walls represented borders, security, and also infrastructure. And so if the nation's, and at the time when I published this, I said if the nation's current government administration continues to proceed with its current open border policies and to expand its infrastructure, the walls in depth without the proper support, then the roof will become vulnerable and it will not be able to sustain all of the weight and the changes occurring, and it will collapse. Now, point number 4, the timing of this dream, right? Since I had this dream in November, it indicated it was one of the most critical details about this dream, that what we are witnessing happening right now was the time frame. Since this dream again occurred in November, I prophesied and said that a major infrastructure bill would be passed in the month of November that following year, in November of 2021. And that when it's passed, it would signify the very beginning point of the downfall and the collapse of the U.S. economy. And since the collapse began in the rear sections of the house, that it will not be visible. I said it will not be visible or up front. The people would not be able to see what's happening. And so people would have to rely, it would be the responsibility of those in the back of the house to warn the people in the front of the dangers that are coming. So that was one of the most significant details that stood out to me the most about this dream. And so what are we seeing happening right now? Exactly 1 year later, November 15th of 2021, during the month of November, Biden signed the $1 trillion infrastructure bill into law. Now, although there was already a lot of stimulus in the economy already, that was the tipping point. That was the very beginning point that has led to what we are seeing today, and it's happening exactly as I saw it. And ever since, it has been one major significant disaster after the next, including war breaking out in Ukraine. So people are completely oblivious to what's going on and what's occurring. The collapse, I believe it's happening. It's already started. But as I saw it in the dream, it's not visible. It's not obvious right yet. It's not visible up front. So people are still not paying attention to what's happening. And so when it finally does get to the front and it starts really coming down, it's going to be bad and it's going to be too late. And people are not preparing for what's happening. Now, there are people who are trying to sound the alarm on this and what's coming. I actually have a video clip here that I want to share with you guys. This clip comes from Jeremiah Babe's channel. He's got a lot of really great content that he puts out concerning the economy and also from a biblical and Christian perspective. So if you guys want to check out his channel, I'll make sure to include a link as well in the About section. But I want to share this video clip with you guys, that some video footage that he put out there that really puts things into perspective. Just how many people in this country, where their mind is at, what they're focused on, just to show you how unprepared they really are for just the mindset, what they really have or what's coming. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look.
Real retail numbers, we've actually had contraction. Look at this line. This is what people are willing to do for a chicken sandwich, ladies and gentlemen. Gas is $6 a gallon. People living paycheck to paycheck. 50% of this country doesn't have $500 saved up, but they have all the time in the world to sit in their cars in this heat, burn gas, for a chicken sandwich. I cannot figure it out for the life of me. But as I left the gym today, I saw this line. I had to film this for all of you to see for your own two eyes where their priorities really are. It's a chicken sandwich. It's waiting an hour, maybe longer. Look at this line. And then when you get into the parking lot here, it's another long line. I mean, this is what people will do spending their time. I don't know if people even work today, what people are doing, but maybe they're just waiting for another stimmy. Maybe they're just using those old credit cards like so many people we know are doing. I mean, this is unbelievable. Now, I might actually be near a quarter mile now from this Chick-fil-A, cutting through the car wash here. Now, I like Chick-fil-A. I like their sandwiches. I think they're good. You know, if the line wasn't so long, I'd probably stop and get one myself. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the sheep. Take a good look at the sheeple today. Why don't you take a good look? $6 a gallon gas. Half the country is absolutely broke and tapped out, but they got credit cards. So again, getting back to inflation, if you adjust for inflation, if you adjust the sales print for inflation, you've got contraction for 2 months in a row. So the real retail numbers, they're contracting. And this just is another example of the manipulation of the numbers we're seeing. Unemployment numbers, the inflation numbers, these retail numbers, housing numbers, it's all manipulated. This is real. This is what people are really doing today. Look at this. This is unbelievable. So this chicken sandwich is probably costing these people $25, maybe more. I don't know what your time is worth. My time is worth a lot more than waiting for a chicken sandwich. But you take your time, you take the gas involved, the wear and tear on your vehicle, you're spending some money today for a chicken sandwich. Just goes on and on, doesn't it? It's all manipulated. So most of the spending we're seeing in retail, and I guarantee you folks, spending you're seeing right here in this line, it's all being fueled by debt, not savings. It's being fueled by debt, not savings. How many of these people in this line have missed a car payment? How many people in this line are going to pay for this meal with a credit card? Not because they want the points, but because they have to. You're going to buy now, worry about it later. Look at this. It just goes on and on and on. There's probably another 50 cars, maybe more, in front of this. Most of these people have no idea what's happening in the real world. This is the bubble right here. This is the sheeple. This is who you do not want to be. Again, nothing wrong having a chicken sandwich, nothing wrong going to Chick-fil-A, nothing wrong waiting in a line. But would you wait over an hour for a chicken sandwich? I mean, give me a break. The stupidity that we're seeing today. I mean, look at this. It just continues. I'm not even at the drive-through yet. I'm blown away. I'm blown away. And some people will call this insane, crazy. This is exactly what we've all expect at this point from people and the consumer. There we go. It just goes on and on and on. This is where people are making the orders. I mean, I feel like I'm at an airport. But last time I was at the airport, it wasn't even this busy. It wasn't even as busy as this. So I'm just going to walk through here real quick. It's not insane. It's not crazy. It's exactly what we expect, and I expect nothing less from the U.S. consumer now. This is the mentality. This is the thinking. This is their priority, spending money, all fueled by debt, not by savings. Look at this. I could get in and out of the airport quicker than I could Chick-fil-A today. So there you have it. There you have it. Absolutely incredible.
So this tells me that it's already here. It's already happening. And right now we're just seeing the corners, the fringes, just the surface of the problems that are happening. But I believe very soon this entire roof is finally going to give out. It's going to cave in, and it's going to happen. When it really builds momentum, it's going to happen quick. And there's not going to be much time or warning to prepare. Now, there are a lot of variables, okay? There's a lot of variables, a lot of unknowns, a lot of things that people are not even factoring in concerning the economy. For example, China, right? When China invades and attacks Taiwan, it's not a matter of if, but it's a matter of when. Many people believe it'll happen. It can happen as early as this November, this fall. A lot of our rubber and a lot of our materials used in electronics comes from Taiwan. So that's going to impact everything from tires, from the tires on your car to your very shoes. Another variable that people aren't considering is New York City, right? New York City just put out literally a public service announcement about a potential for a nuclear attack on the city. And again, I don't believe that this is a matter of if, but a matter of when, right? I've already talked about New York City specifically in several of our messages. It is going to be attacked. And in fact, there are several people out there, military ops, special ops operators, who are already warning that Russian nuclear submarines are already off our eastern coast. So it's coming, right? So New York City is the financial hub of our nation. Wall Street's there, right? It's the financial heartbeat of the nation. And so what's going to happen is when New York City is finally attacked, it's going to be a massive consequence and effect that really could really bring down the nation. So think about everything that it's going to take for the nation to supply and to support military operations during a world war. Think about that. In the event World War III breaks out, all of the efforts, what's going to take to have to support that. So it's not, now this isn't all completely doom and gloom, right? There are also there's some minor things, some very simple things that you guys can actually do to prepare for what is coming. That's going to make a world of a difference for you and your family. Now, if you think about it, electricity, right, and technology, it's actually a fairly new concept. So we've actually survived and we have lived without technology, without electricity up until just recently, since the last 40 or 50 years. So we can make it without some of these things. Now, we used to grow our own food. We used to build our own houses. We made our own stuff. So if we've done it before, we can do again. So again, it's not all complete doom and gloom. So just make sure you guys know how to do the essentials, right? Certain food items that is very easy to make, like bread and butter. Learn how to fish. Learn some hunting techniques. Learn some simple skill sets, some simple skills that can really pay off in the event when things happen, so you don't have to pay or go to anyone else to do it, right? You can do it yourself. Now, also, just a golden rule, right? You guys should be stocking up on non-perishable goods, things like canned goods, rice, beans, water, dry goods. You guys can stock up on some of those 5-gallon water jugs, right? Get a generator. You guys can find some really cheap, very cheap, good quality used generators on the Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, right? You can check the pawn shops out. Make sure your shoes are good. The tires on your car are also adequate. Make sure that your children will have the clothing and the shoes that they need to last for at least another 1 to 2 years in advance, right? Some of you guys who have multiple children use hand-me-downs. Make sure you guys also have the adequate medical supplies and just simple first aid stuff, right? Think of Benadryl. Think of things like that. And also make sure you have enough pet food. Do not forget about your pets. Make sure you have pet food to last you for at least 6 months to a year for your pets. Now, make sure you guys also have an emergency stash of cash saved up so that it's not locked up in the bank somewhere, right? So if something happens, everybody starts pulling all their money out of the banks, and the banks start freezing up to where you can't pull out cash. Make sure you have enough cash. Now, make sure you guys have a way to defend yourself, to protect yourselves and your family. Now, I'm not necessarily talking about going out and buying a bunch of guns and ammo, right? Some of those things might be very critical when it comes to literal life-threatening situations. But there are some really simple things that you guys can do to help improve your security, to help improve the security in your house, a way to protect and defend your family without even having to go to guns. You guys can get pepper spray, get tasers, a baseball bat, or even a crowbar. In fact, getting a dog. Dogs are a great alarm system, and they can detect someone breaking into your house. They detect noises, and they'll start going off when things happening. So there are also certain aspects, like you guys can get knives and swords, different things. That sounds crazy, right? But if you think about it, if it really gets that bad, right? What happens when everyone finally runs out of ammo, right? So bows and arrows. So make sure your windows and your doors are reinforced. There's some really very awesome cheap kits out there that you guys can buy on Amazon that will help to reinforce your doors, to keep intruders from breaking down your doors, or at least buy you some time for you and your family to get out. Because when things get really desperate, and we have seen what has happened, right? If you just take a look at where some of these governments are already collapsing around the world, right? These third world countries where we're seeing collapses happening. Look at what's happening. When things get desperate, people resort to desperate measures. So things can very well happen here in the United States, especially in the inner cities. If you have no way to get out of the city, like you absolutely have to hold down the fort and you're within some of these major cities, it's just simple things that you can do to really make a difference, buy you guys some time. So and then another aspect I didn't mention, I do want to mention just briefly, that it's not all doom and gloom. And if you guys prepare right and you know how to play the cards right, and you just kind of hold on, I believe things will settle down, right? Things will settle down. Hopefully this won't last too long. And when it becomes, when the economy really starts collapsing, right, people aren't going to be able to sell their houses. The value is, the prices are going to come down on everything. Prices are going to crash on cars and also in houses. So that will be a great time for you to actually be able to buy a house or get into a car. So anyway, guys, that's going to conclude this message. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please email me, brandon@tribeofchristians.com. Contact me through our website, or just leave a comment right below in the comment section. I do read the comments, and I answer them as soon as I can get to them. As always, guys, stay encouraged. Keep running your race. Keep fighting the good fight of faith. Remember, things are always about God. Always. Romans 8:28, all things work together for the good of those who love Christ. And that's what everything is always about. So stay encouraged. Don't give up. Keep running a race. You guys stay in faith. God bless.